primaries are about family fights and choices. And I'm not worried about what Governor Romney said today. That's his opinion, and it's okay. I have just as much a right to express my opinion as a leader in our party as he does, and we'll see where it lands. At some point in this system, it's the voters who determine who the nominee is going to be.
New Jersey Governor Chris Christie earlier today reacting to Mitt Romney's scathing speech concerning Donald Trump. Romney's comments come amid unrest within the Republican Party, but did Mitt's words help or hurt the Donald? Well, let's discuss that with our panel. Skyping in from New York City, noted columnist for the Fiscal Times, Liz Peek, and joining us from Newsmax, Washington, former mayor of Cincinnati, former Secretary of State of the great state of Ohio, Ken Blackwell, now the senior fellow at the Family Research Council. Welcome to you both. And Liz, ladies first, Mitt's critique, and that may be putting it delicately, but Mitt's critique of Donald Trump, will that hurt Trump or make him stronger?
Well, it'll make him stronger to the extent that he brandishes it as yet another evidence that people are ganging up on him. Trump really loves playing the victim card. People are always not being nice to him, and he's told his apostles basically that the GOP establishment is out to get him. I mean, the sad thing is, it was a pretty good speech that Romney gave, and it raised reasonable concerns about Trump. And I think no matter what you think of Trump, and you may be very excited, and I am sometimes too, about the things that he goes after and the frustration he taps into, etc., the truth is every voter should look at Trump's record, should wonder about his business dealings, and should demand more of Trump in the way of policy pronouncements that kind of make sense and are possible platform items and not just one-liners or sound bites or things that kind of make us feel good. So, I think Romney had every right to make the speech. I thought it was a very sensible
But that's interesting because, I got to tell you, Liz, and I want to get Ken's reaction to this, the number of people who've asked me, where was this Romney in 2012 against Obama? Why didn't he bring the same passion, the same type of criticism against the president he was running against and when he was the GOP nominee? Why do you think that is, Ken?
If you're asking me,
let me let Ken get in on this, Liz, okay?
Yeah, sure.
I really do think Romney missed his opportunity. He's had the platform 2 times before now. He needs to basically say, I am flat out not interested, cannot be drafted, and maybe his criticism will carry more weight and have more believability. But I think at the end of the day, this primary reminds me a bit of 1976. It reminds me a little bit of, and has the potential of 1992. And look, we ought to let the voters sort this out. We've all said that, steel sharpens steel. We thought this was a good group of candidates. They are vigorously fighting this out. And the party has to let this play out, and then the party has to unite behind the winner. Any scenario that has more than a head-to-head fight against Hillary Clinton is a losing proposition.
Liz, let me go back to you because it is the question that Kenny answered, but I am interested in your opinion. Where was this kind of passion from Romney, the Republican nominee in 2012? We didn't seem to see it down the stretch.
Well, actually, if you remember, there was one debate and there were some speeches where he was equally clear and decisive and forceful. Unfortunately, it didn't carry out throughout the campaign. I think Romney was a victim of too many advisors whispering in his ears, telling him to basically back away from his own success, his own wealth, etc. It was a terrible campaign, and it's too bad because I think he really would have made a very good president. That said, that doesn't really discredit him as an analyst and an observer of today's political scene. He actually got, if you remember, tens of millions of Americans to vote for him. So, I mean, look, he's a very respected businessman. He's someone who was in public life, did some very good things in this country in terms of turning around the Olympics, which was an absolute mess, if you recall. So I think he's a credible spokesman. Do I agree with everything he said? No, I think, but But I think we've got to kind of climb up into adult world here and say, look, Trump voters don't have to agree with Romney, but they can hear him out. There's no reason to throw the guy under the bus because he dislikes Donald Trump.
Well, let me ask you this, Kenny, with the minute and a half that remains. Is there a danger that the Republican Party, as we know it, will be thrown under the bus? You've got Trump leaving out that third party option, saying he might use it. Now you're hearing it from establishment leaders who want to find somebody other than Trump. Is this a typical primary fight, as Chris Christie suggested, or could this bring the rift that becomes a permanent split for the GOP, Ken?
A permanent split gives this to Hillary Clinton if she's not in jail or under going through a trial. Look, elections are about numbers. Romney's big problem in the last election was that he was projected to be concerned about the 47% and the top 10% of the 47%. Here's the challenge. This campaign has excited people, not just the campaign, but the Rubio campaign and as well as the Cruz campaign. We're getting Republicans out. It's about numbers.
And unfortunately, the numbers are dwindling on the clock, so I'm going to have to stop it there. Ken Blackwell in Washington and Liz Peek in New York City, you have our thanks. You heard what they had to say. Agree or disagree? Why don't you send me your comments at newsmaxtv.com/comments. When we come back, ISIS using children as executioners. Derek Harvey and Michael Patrick Flanagan will talk about it.